Hello, I'm Scott Loerts, and like you, I'm wild about Washington. Governor Gregoire has announced an expanded investment to restore the health of Puget Sound. Interest in taking on this huge commitment was recently intensified as more people were shown underwater video evidence that this treasure of Washington is getting sicker every year.
The number one solution to the problem of Puget Sound are the citizens living in and around it. Citizens who step up and understand what their contribution is to the problem and understand that they're a part of the solution. Whether I put too much fertilizer on my lawn and then have it rain and flush it into the Sound, whether I drive my automobile, it's a single occupant every day, and then that storm water again goes out that pipe. All of us must accept responsibility to be part of the solution. But I also want to say that it's time for us to take some steps. We began, as Norm indicated, out of tremendous fear for Hood Canal in 2005. We invested about $21 million additional to try and immediately stop what was literally a dead zone. And now we're going to step up our investment in Puget Sound. We're going to invest, I hope, with the permission of the legislature, $220 million additional dollars to get things done on the ground. Of that $220 million investment, 82% of it are action-oriented items on the ground to make things happen. So first we need to protect and restore fish and wildlife habitat. We're going to invest in that to make sure that they can flourish again. We need to speed up the control of pervasive toxics that are getting into the Sound and the septic problems that we all know are present. It's up to us to find out if our septic system is failing, and then let us partner with our local government to see what we can do about it. We need to take steps to address polluted stormwater, as was just mentioned, and that means partner with local governments to the tune of $25 million and a new stormwater permit that the department will issue. We're going to work closely with our communities, with our tribes, with our local governments to protect and provide salmon habitat, to restore the shorelines.
The challenge on Puget Sound is very daunting, and it's going to take a major partnership between the local governments who have to do these projects, all this stormwater, all these septic fixes, and all the sewer problems that we have to deal with, and all the consequences of runoff have to be dealt by the local governments with help from the state and the federal government. So it's going to take the locals, it's going to take the states. The tribes play a big role in this as well, and we need their help and cooperation. But my goal back in the federal government will be to increase the federal funding. Now, and what the basic premise of the Bush administration has been is that, hey, Dix, if you show us that the state of Washington is doing something, and then we'll come in.
Well, the good news is the people I represent look at this as Puget Sound as the heartbeat of Puget Sound country. And I think there's a total unanimity that it's something that's a heritage value, an absolute core value of why we live here, and why we want our grandkids to stay here. So I think there's a universal commitment to solving the problems of Puget Sound. That's the good news. The bad news is that Puget Sound is an optical illusion. It looks great, it's blue, it's sparkly on a sunny day, it looks pristine and perfect, like crystal on top, but it's sick underneath.
Spokane's 73-year-old fish hatchery is one of our oldest, but it produces 40% of all the rainbow trout eggs in the state. The spawning for the next crop of fish was recently completed, and it included the famous triploid trout, so popular with so many anglers. Also, at this hatchery, visitors are welcome.
We're at the Spokane Hatchery today, and we're spawning 3-year-old and 4-year-old rainbow trout to be shipped across the state, also for local production. The first thing we do in a spawn day is we come down and we sort our females for ripe and green fish. The green fish are dropped, the ripe fish are put in live pens and numerated. After both 3s and 4-year-olds are done, we'll go up and take a quick break and warm up because it is cold out here. It's about 29 degrees today. And then we come back and we put people in both ponds to start spawning. We anesthetize the fish with MS 222, and then the females are air spawned off an oxygen cylinder with a small needle. That gets most of the eggs out. The last few are hand stripped, and also to get the air out so the fish don't bloat up and die. That way they can come out of the MS and swim around naturally. The males are just put in a live box, and we just strip spawn them without anesthetizing them right to the eggs. After the eggs and sperm are mixed together, we add saline solution for 2 minutes to start fertilization. Then the eggs are rinsed with the egg pans in the pond, and then they're poured into iodine where they will sit for an hour to water harden, be taken up to the incubation room where they will be put down as green eggs in the baskets in the shell troughs. The eggs, after they're taken, will eye up in 16 days here, and then we will shock them and pick them. Each basket, there's 5 baskets per trough, and each basket has 4 quarts of eggs, which roughly comes out somewhere between 40 and 50,000 eggs per basket. We do it this time of year because the fish are ripe, and it also allows us to make our spring plants the size they need to be, and then our fall plants in the following year for catchable trout. All our 3-year-old eggs we triploid. We need to take approximately 3 million eggs this year, green eggs, to triploid, and what that does is it makes the fish sterile.
And it's a great management strategy for our area biologists, fish biologists. What they like to do is put these fish, sterile fish, into area lakes and rivers where we don't want natural reproduction going on.
And so the tours are going just as much as they ever were before, even better. To see the action, you just have to come out. You don't have to have a guided tour. You can just come out and wander through yourself, and you'll see the spawning fish, and you'll see all the rest of the ponds. It's pretty well identified. There's lots of things for you to read, but if you want a guided tour, we have accommodations. We'd like you to call and give us some notice, but we can take groups of 15 or larger through anytime. The guided tour is best because employees out here are very, very busy, and they just don't have time to answer the questions. Well, you will have a guide with you the whole time, about an hour, and he can answer all the questions for you and explain it to you, anything you might want to know.
Here are some fishing opportunities in Washington during the coming weeks. To graduate from Highline High School, a student needs to complete a community service project. DJ Allen, a devoted angler, used this requirement as an opportunity to pass along his love of fishing to other students as he conducted a winter night's lesson in squid jigging.
I've been fishing for my entire life, and I just love teaching people and giving, because when I first started, rarely anyone would teach me, and eventually I found a couple guys that would teach me. And I just want to make it easier for kids that want to get into this to grow and learn and have an opportunity that I didn't have. Maybe I can make it happen for them. I get high off of it. It's what makes me happy. I get a kick out of it. Even if I sit for 14 hours, don't even see the tip move. If I don't catch anything, so be it. And I have friends. I wouldn't have half the friends I do if it wasn't for fishing. I want them to see the kids having fun, learning something that they've never done before, and just the total look of a whoa when they finally pulled their first squid ever up. Because most people think of squid, they have only heard of calamari. They don't think in the sense you can walk down to a local dock in Washington and catch them in the wintertime. A nice night is about 45 degrees, overcast, and the chance of a 30-mile-an-hour wind, pouring down rain, and if you really want to catch the squid, weather should be no object. Fingers below, your fingers above, put it in between your fingers like so. Thumb goes up above like that, so aim straight down your rod. The specific species we're targeting are the opalescent or market squid. If you buy squid in a store or have it at a restaurant, you're eating these guys. No one else in my entire family fishes. You wouldn't guess that by the fact that all these poles behind me, that could easily be in my garage. I have 61 of them. Going down, freezing your keister off for a couple of hours for a couple of stinking shellfish. I see it as an evening to shoot the bull and have a terrific time, even if it is blowing 40 miles an hour, 30 degrees, and you've got ice on your boots. It relieves my stress. All the stress in my classes I take at school and stuff, I let it go here. This is how I relax. If anyone out there ever wants to learn about fishing or anything, come down to Des Moines Pier and see if you can find me. I'm usually down here. You should be able to get in contact with me, and I'll see what I can do for you. I'm always open to teach.
This has been Wild About Washington, brought to you by the employees of the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife. Working together, we can keep Washington's outdoor heritage for future generations. Thank you for watching.